Coming up on this episode of Murky Sebs Wild Underwater Adventures. How cool is this spot? I was down there in the deeper bit of the water having a look around, and I saw what could be some baby spangled perch, or potentially a baby Mary River cod, but I'm pretty sure they're spangled perch. I'd really like to see a baby Mary River cod, as this is the Mary River and they are the ultimate fish to find. But even still, I've seen some Marjorie's hardy heads, some crimson spotted rainbows, some Pacific blue eyes, I've seen various species of gudgeon, and even some long arm shrimp. There's just so many awesome creatures living in this part of the river. So I'm making sure I get lots of footage of them, and hopefully it turns out well and we can have a good look at them up close on the big screen. I'm going to get back in and see what else I can find. The shallow water of the creek looks an orangey red colour, and that's from a type of algae that's covered the rocks, but only in the shallowest part of the creek. In the deeper water, amongst the plants, we can see several large schools of fish. Some of them look quite large indeed, but we're going to have to get in and have a closer look to identify them. I slowly walked deeper into the creek, past the foxtail water plants, until I was close enough to see these are in fact spangled perch, and quite a large school of them. They have a very similar body to the Mary cod, however they don't get anywhere near as large, getting to a maximum of around 30 centimetres, unlike the Mary cod, which can get up to around 1.8 metres long. The spangled perch have a silvery body with a yellowish spangled pattern across their scales, which is how they got their name. With those big black eyes, they have excellent vision for finding their potential meals, which include fish, snails, crustaceans, plant matter, and insects. There is also another type of fish schooling alongside the spangled perch, which I will get to shortly. The perch can adapt to a wide range of conditions and are found from northern Western Australia all the way across the Northern Territory, down through Queensland into northern New South Wales. They can survive in water as cold as 5 degrees to water as warm as 44 degrees. The spangled perch are often found in strange places after it rains, sometimes in deserts where there isn't any permanent water nearby. The perch manage this by taking advantage of shallow water pooling on the ground from the rain, which they can easily swim through. They are often observed swimming over roads, often with very little water covering them, but their streamlined shape and powerful fins mean this is no problem for the spangled perch. When summer comes, it's time for the perch to reproduce, but before they do, the perch will migrate upstream during the night time, and if dams or other human-made obstructions block their path, they will try their hardest to swim past them, but sadly not all are able to. Once they find a place to spawn, the female will lay thousands of tiny eggs scattered over the bottom of the river, and within 2 days the babies hatch and start feeding shortly after they emerge from their eggs, and within a month they will leave their larval stage. Everywhere I looked in this river, I could see plants and fish swimming around, which I was really pleased to see. This part of the Mary River is easily one of the most beautiful rivers I've ever seen, with an abundance of different species living here. We can see some of the plants here growing in the fast-moving water. But let's have a closer look a bit further downstream. And off in the distance, we can see something big and elusive, much larger than the spangled perch. It's guarding a nest, which it has taken a very long time to construct by moving bits of sand and rocks around into a circle shape, which its eggs will be laid in and then defended by their parents. This strange looking fish is the Eeltailed Catfish, and if you would like to learn more about them, make sure to check out my video, A Very Mysterious Fish, which is all about these amazing creatures. They're essentially a tongue with taste receptors all over their body, and they have those barbels, which are often referred to as whiskers, on their mouth, which are specialized for finding little bits of food in the murky water. I had to stand really still for a long time in order for this eel-tailed catfish to feel comfortable enough to swim up to my camera, but as you can see, it was still keeping a decent distance from me. Everywhere I turned my camera, I could see fish and plants. Lots of these unspeckled hardyheads with a black stripe down their golden body were swimming around in the water. And on the riverbed, perfectly camouflaged against the rocks, were these little gudgeons. And swimming about above them, we can see many crimson spotted rainbow fish. But in the distance, there is something that shouldn't be in this creek. This is one of the most widespread invasive species in Australia, due to people deliberately releasing them into the wild as early as the 1970s. These are known as tilapia, which is a common name for hundreds of species of cichlids, which live in various rivers throughout the northern African countries. They can't tolerate cold water, but for half of Australia, the water conditions are perfect for them to survive. Some species of tilapia are vegetarian, eating the native plants and algae, whereas other species eat native fish, crustaceans, and insects, outcompeting the native species. Tilapia keep their babies in their mouth and can tolerate very poor water conditions, meaning they are incredibly hard to remove from the environment. In Australia, if you catch a tilapia, you are legally required to kill it and put the body above the high water line or in a bin. They can potentially breed every 5 weeks and have up to 1,000 babies at a time. These ones are basically as big as they get at around 30 centimeters. And if you love killing fish, this species would be a good substitute for our native species. But remember, it's not their fault they're here, and they're just doing what they've done for millions of years, trying to survive and doing an exceptional job of it. Wow, what an awesome adventure this has been. We've seen so many different species of fish in the Murky River. We've seen the rainbows, we've seen blue eyes, we've seen some baby spangled perch, we've seen some freshwater mussels, we've seen some shrimp, we've seen Marjorie's hardyheads, we've seen smelt. There's so many fish living in this river, which is a really good sign. I really hope it stays that way. But one thing we haven't seen yet is the Mary cod. I'm sure they're out there, but I haven't been lucky enough to capture one on film. Maybe we can see it the next time we come and check out the Murky River. I hope you enjoyed learning about these species and seeing this cool river up close and personal. I'll catch you on our next adventure, and until then, keep it murky.